hope your husband is turning you on while he's turning me on. I mean, I'd like this to be potentially a three-way, Patty, if you know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying, and I'm just going to say that it is, and I appreciate that.
In a professional way, Patty.
Yes.
Very professional way.
Very professional. Yes, it's a symbiotic relationship. Congratulations on being able... I know you're taking United. I also fly United, and I'm thrilled with how they're handling things. How excited are you to be back at the Barrymore in Madison?
So excited, and I have a religious objection to people's religious objection to getting vaccinated. So I love that United told those people to stuff it as well.
It is.
And I love that they're like dads. They're like, I will turn this plane around. If you don't put your mask on, I will turn it around.
Yeah.
We've had like a couple reports of that, seriously, and it's hilarious. And we that's why we're so proud to be flying United, because they really stepped out first and showed leadership. And the CEO just said, this is how you do it. This is how you get to 99% vaccination. There's no waffling. There's no backtracking. Vaccinated or no job, period. Boom. And there we are. So anyway, but we are thrilled to be back in Madison. It's it's such a weird thing, Patty, that, we started Sexy Liberal there, and it's also the birthplace, of unions.
Yeah.
And I just think with all of this stuff going on with workers' rights and people striking, it's just such a good time to go back and revisit that, because we just keep saying people have reevaluated their lives during COVID and said, you know what, I'm not going to go for crappy pay and no benefits, get coughed on by people that have COVID, get punched for asking someone to wear a mask, and so I think, companies are going to have to pay a fair wage, and they're going to have to make sure that their customers and their employees are safe and vaccinated.
Yeah, we've had a catastrophic situation here in Chicago. El Milagro Tortilla, they've had 5 workers die from COVID-19, and for years they've had unsafe conditions, and they have had enough. And we have, I don't know if you know this, but Chicago has the second largest Mexican population in the United States, second only to Los Angeles. Yeah. I've asked my mom why Chicago. She goes, I wasn't planning to stay, but but we have
I was stopping by.
That's right. But you're right. I mean, there are people who have been really stepped on for too long, have done backbreaking work for low wages, and the pandemic has shaken people loose. We were also
people that are privileged sit on their happy ass, and complain about Zoom. A lot of people didn't have a choice. They had to be out there on the front lines. Exposed to COVID, exposed to a-holes, frankly, who, won't wear a mask and won't get vaccinated. And so, I don't blame them for saying, I ain't doing that for $10 an hour and no benefits.
Right. And when you have people that won't follow any of the regulations when it comes to vaccinations or masking, and I love that you are asking that you are going to a venue that requires vaccination proof and masking, because you're not like Travis Tritt.
Yeah, oh, God, we're the anti-Travis Tritt, Sexy Liberal. But no, I mean, they're idiots. Like, what do they wish, a death wish for themselves and their audience? Like, we absolutely wouldn't be doing this if there wasn't vaccination and masking required, We want to do it safely. I mean, we're thrilled to be back in person. I don't know about you, Patty, but it's been a long lockdown for Mama. I mean, you're married. I'm single. It has been a very long lockdown.
But you have Pooch Love, which is always good, too. The dog?
I do. But, I mean, we're just so excited to be back performing live. Because you know how it is in radio. Like, you don't hear people laughing or enjoying what you're doing. We're in a little padded room all by ourselves, right?
Exactly. And and I know you go for these extraordinary bike rides. I know that you have a chance to clear your head and are so committed to that. And you have such a great collection. And that's what I say when I have great guests. I collect people. And you seem to do the same. You have such brilliant people that join you every single day, and some of whom are joining you on this tour. Tell us a little bit about how excited you are to perform with John Fugelsang, Hal Sparks, Frangela. It's a great show.
I have to tell you, Patty, if you haven't seen any of them live, you really have to see it. And this is the first time we've done pay-per-view. We did the virtual tour during COVID, but that was a sketch show. It wasn't a stand-up show, obviously, because we weren't, able to be out because it was COVID. So this is the very first time we've done pay-per-view stand-up with Sexy Liberal. So, everybody around the country gets to go. It's like $20 for a, pay-per-view ticket, and you get these brilliant comedians. I mean, they're all just amazing, and obviously all new material. It's been, we called it this time the Sexy Liberal Survivors Tour, because look what we survived, all of us, right? Not just COVID, but Trump, voter suppression, police brutality, like down the line. it feels exhausting, doesn't it?
It really does. I've been telling people we have to start treating it like what I started doing during Trump's candidacy or his entire administration was it's a relay race. Too many of us were acting as though it was either a sprint or a marathon. I'm like, somebody else take this for a few minutes because I got to take a break.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
No, exactly. So, we're back out, being able to, because again, the whole tour got canceled. We got one date in Seattle for, in 2020. It was the big election year tour. We had one date. The whole thing got shut down. So this was the next date that was up was Madison, where we started the tour. And so, we wanted to go back to our home there at the Barrymore Theater, which we love. And, obviously Madison is just such a great, liberal hotbed there. As Bill O'Reilly called them, Satan worshipers. So they're my people, Patty, my people.
Yeah, mine as well.
And come up Chicago, because it's the only show in 2021. Come on, it's Karen in Chicago, the famous Karen in Chicago is coming. A lot of folks coming up from Chicago. So come on, join the party.
Exactly. I have a sister-in-law that lives there. She can lend you a room, or you guys can sleep on the front lawn, whatever you need. And it is a quick drive from Chicago. And everyone can go to sexyliberal.com for your tickets. You can also get the pay-per-view video simulcast and join in all the fun. Purchase a ticket for that, and there's VIP packages available. And I know that
meet and greet.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Is that weird? It's going to be. It's your first one in like you said, over a year. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, we'll do it masked and safe and all that, and there'll be somewhat less sex than there normally is at the meet and grow, but. It'll still be fun.
Exactly. It's one of those things, and I never know if are people going in for a hug? Are they going in for an elbow? Are they going in for a fist bump? It's very...
I know. What are the post-COVID rules? Because I'm like a koala. I'm so clingy. I've been in lockdown so long. I'm just going to strap myself on people's heads, and they'll be like, all right, get off me now.
Let's manage this the best we can. Stephanie, I know that you've got a lot going on. I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm so grateful that you could jump on. I would love to have you back whenever your schedule permits. And
I'd love to.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for what you've done over the last several years. Everyone can listen to Stephanie from 8 to 11 on our station, and you can watch her on Free Speech TV, which is channel 348 on DirecTV. And again, go to the website to buy your tickets. Go to sexyliberal.com for your tickets this weekend. Yay, Stephanie, have fun, safe travels.
Let's come back and hang when I have more time, but welcome to Team WCPT.
Oh, thank you. Love you. I have as much of a crush on you as Paula Poundstone, so I'll talk to you soon.
Give your husband my special love as well.
You can count on it. Take care.
All right.
Be safe.
See you, honey.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Oh, that was so exciting. It was Stephanie Miller. Here's the thing, is that Stephanie Miller also, I don't want to dork out on her completely, but Stephanie kicked open a lot of doors for women in comedy, women talking about politics in comedy, talk show hosts as far on TV. Like, she had her own late night talk show. So that's why I was geeking out and trying to, I know I talk really fast to everybody. That's just in general. But yes, I was excited to have Stephanie Miller. I'm excited that she'll be at the Barrymore Theater in Madison, Wisconsin this Saturday night. Again, go to sexyliberal.com for your tickets. And right now we will take, what do you think? Give me a number, Lady B. You're the one answering the phones. Give me a number for who wins. Caller number 5, she says. So she's willing to disappoint 4 people before our winner. Not disappoint. She's like, no, wait, don't say that. Caller number 5 for you for a pair of tickets to see Stephanie Miller's Sexy Liberal Tour featuring John Fugelsang, Hal Sparks, and comedy duo Frangela, which has been a sold-out sensation for over a decade and the only live show in 2021, which is going to be, as we just said, in Madison at the historic Barrymore Theater. Tickets and information are available at sexyliberal.com. But right now is your chance to win a pair of tickets to the show on Saturday, October 23rd. Stephanie Miller's Sexy Liberal Tour, Saturday, October 23rd. Go to sexyliberal.com. One more time. All those in attendance must show proof of vaccination and must wear a mask. If you can't get to Madison, go to Stephanie's website and purchase a ticket for the live video pay-per-view simulcast and join in the fun. Contests running on WCPT 820 are open to listeners 18 or older and residents of the greater Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana area. 1 entry per person, 1 winner per household, void where prohibited by law. Listeners may only win or qualify to win once every 30 days. Complete rules are available on our website at WCPT820.com. www.wcpt820.com by clicking the contest tab. Thought I'd read that in regular pace since I always speed right through it. 773-763-WCPT, 773-763-9278. 1, to be caller number 5, and 2, to join the conversation. It's your conversation. Tell me what's on your mind. We're talking about what you want to talk about. Right back after this on Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez. I got to talk to Stephanie Miller. So weird.
Rick Unger.
We need both parts of this infrastructure. We need the physical infrastructure, but we also need the human infrastructure. It's critical. It is important. It is a major step forward, probably among the most significant legislation that we have seen since the Great Depression. It is important stuff. It does important things for people that really need to be done and should be done.
Rick Unger, weekday evenings at 6, right here on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
If you don't have final expense insurance, this message is for you. Life Care provides valuable whole life insurance to help cover final expenses, medical bills, burial costs, and unpaid debt. A final expense insurance policy is fast, easy, affordable life insurance available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exams, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. Call Life Care at 800-956-0683. 800-956-0683.
On January 6, 2021, followers of Trump and something called QAnon attempted a coup at the United States Capitol. Who are these people?
I want to live with the QAnon girl. I could be happy the rest of my life with a QAnon girl. Believer of theory, she leans to the right. She never gets weary of being gullible and white. She's my QAnon girl.
Man, I am so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that they are going to be holding Steve Bannon in contempt of Congress. Well, at least I think that's what I have to check up on all the news. I've been working all day. Actually, I've also been out reaching out to neighbors about their Halloween decorations because we have a Halloween decorating contest in Gladstone Park. So if you are one of my neighbors in the Gladstone Park neighborhood, if you have decorated your house, your lawn for Halloween, make sure you go to GPNA, the Gladstone Park Neighbors Association, and submit pictures of your lawn because we have some gift cards to give away from neighborhood joints like North Branch Fried Chicken and Smack Tack, which is a great Polish restaurant here on the Northwest Side, and North Branch Chicken, as we've talked about before. It's so good. Oh no, I'm going to get hungry right now for it. And we also have a gift card to Mom's Old Recipe on Milwaukee Avenue, which is some of the best Mexican food on the Northwest Side, if not the whole city of Chicago. So that is something that I want to make sure my neighbors know about. That, and you can email your pictures at gpnachicago@gmail.com. So go to gpnachicago@gmail.com. That's where you send your pictures, and you can go to gpnachicago.com to see if you live in the neighborhood. You're like, where is Gladstone? Well, if you start at Milwaukee, you know where Milwaukee and Foster, kind of right there, a little bit all north of that, and then kind of up Milwaukee, and, well, you have to go look at the map. It's when I was growing up, Gladstone Park was mostly the bakery. I didn't know it was a neighborhood until I moved here from Norwood Park. On the line with us is one of my favorite listeners, and many of you are. Judy, I should not single people out, but you and I have known each other for years. Hi, Judy from Niles. How are you? Hi, how are you doing?
Great. I'm so excited. My dreams have come true, Patty. I had you and Stephanie at the same time. I listen every morning.
Right?
Yes. I only tried once or twice to get through to her.
Oh.
But just to tell her. And but my son got through one time.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I've been a big fan honestly, before I was a stand-up comic, I always hesitate when I meet someone that I've idolized for a long time to say how long I've been and how old I was when I started watching them, because I think I was in college when I started watching when I first became familiar with Stephanie Miller, and since I was a kid, Joan Esposito has been one of my idols. So it is surreal to be on a radio station with both of them. It's crazy.
I know. I was just when you said that you were going to geek out and everything. I was, who's she going to have on? And I was so excited because several times I thought of even asking you, hey, have you ever thought of asking her to come on? I'm just so excited.
Well, you know what's fun?
I wish I could go up there, but
I know. Well, you can get the paper.
Well, we drive farther than that when we go to my cottage, but I've been in Madison, though. It was a very nice town.
Oh, it's wonderful, and I you can watch the event, the comedy show live stream. That's a good way.
Well, if we can figure it out.
Sure, you just need a laptop. Just get your son, get one of your kids in there to help you out with that. It's easy to walk through it.
Because people saying and Hal Sparks are so gorgeous too.
Yes. And Hal, I saw Hal at the Downtown Zanies years ago. He was a guest on my show when I was at another station. And there are comics who weave this theme and you don't even realize it until it's over. And he was talking about going down the rabbit hole of watching YouTube videos and something that he'd come across and this sort of surreal thing. And it's not until the end that you realize everything after that has to do with this rabbit hole of videos and something he saw, and he wraps it all together with a beautiful bow, and it was absolutely masterful. He's incredible.
He's so smart. I mean, when I've listened to him a couple times, I thought, wow, it's hard to even keep up with him.
And he talks. I would say he talks faster than I do. Wouldn't you say? Let's.
I don't know. I can go pretty fast. And my husband gets nervous about when I start talking to strangers. I can just see him out of the corner of my eye. What is she saying to these people now?
Oh, that's my husband and my son Griffin's entire lives.
I know.
Griffin told me one time, he goes, you know what? Every day doesn't have to be small talk day, Mommy.
Yeah, my son used to say, Mother, do you remember the movie Mother? Where he says to his mother, you don't have to talk to the people that's selling you things. I think my son said that to me word for word.
That's Albert Brooks and Debbie Reynolds, is that right?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Such a great movie.
And it was so me.
Yeah, I love that.
I can't handle electronic devices. I can't.
Oh, so sweet.
And I talk to everyone.
Yeah, I talk to everyone too. By the way, it's funny you mentioned Mother because I've been watching the movie. I've been watching little snippets here and there. Broadcast News with Albert Brooks as well.
Oh yeah, well I like Albert Brooks. I try anything he's in.
Yes. Oh, Lost in America.
I mean, she's been in some really. She was a great comic actress.
Oh, 100%. Yep.
Yeah.
Some good movies. I enjoy. I like having movies on in the background. By the way, someone just tweeted earlier today. They were listening yesterday, and they wanted to second the encouragement of everyone watching the movie Mattawan, which is a movie about coal miners. It's from the 1980s. Have you seen Mattawan?
I have, but it was really a long time ago.
I feel like it needs to be our.
It wasn't the girl that was in Network or what? The little tiny actress. I think she's in it.
Oh, is she really?
I think so.
Matt, let me see what the cast is. And I think. Go ahead.
I know a little bit of that life. My aunt comes from far, far southern Illinois. In fact, their town's main street goes right into the Ohio River.
Oh, really?
Yes. There's people that live on it, and with the years when it floods, they just move upstairs. It's hilarious.
Oh, wow. It's well, I think we're going to make it the movie of the month for our audience and figure out a day where we just talk about having viewed it. Maybe I give everybody till after Halloween. But it's Mary McDonald.
I can find it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing is I have to give people time to find it. Mary McDonald is the actress that is in Mattawan.
I love her.
Yes, she's great.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Sometime when you have a lot of time, I'll tell you all about the time I called. Fairfield, the town Fairfield in Wayne County.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Now you have to remind me that you want to tell me about that.
Oh, God.
Do you want to tell us now?
It takes a while.
Oh.
Well, I'll try to synopsize here. Neil Steinberg, who I like to read in the Sun-Times, he wrote about going to Wayne County, wondering why they were so ruby red down there.
Okay.
And so I thought, well, I'll find it. Talk about talking. I didn't tell my husband I did this forever. And I called down there, and I called the paper. I thought, I'll talk to the editor. He put his name in the paper. And I thought, he's a newspaper man. Maybe he'll be a little more open to discussion. Well, he wasn't particularly. I got through to him, and he talked to me, but he got pretty rabid. He got pretty...
Oh.
Yeah, he was very aggressive and really excited to go after me. And he asked me what my name was, and I said, oh, golly, I don't want him to say she's from Chicago and she's ethnic.
Oh, boy.
My husband's name is Polish, so I thought, I won't do that. I don't want them to come after him if they decide
right.
to. So I used my grandmother's name. Her name was Ann Young. That's nice and neutral. And he told me all sorts of things. I did get some stuff out of it. I mean, somebody can say something, and I'll say, oh, they said this.
Right.
And they will listen to the very same phrase and say they said that.
Right.
Something completely different. They hear things. To me, it's backwards. To them, I'm backwards, I guess, to be fair. But they were talking. He got on that. Our jobs have all gone away, and I said, well, the owners, it's the owner's fault.
Right.
No, he said it's the union's fault.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's what they think. They had industries down there, and they think that the unions chased them out because they wanted higher wages. And I thought, well, wow. And at one point, I was so frustrated with him, and sometimes I cry when I get frustrated. But then he became one of those men that, oh dear, I've made a girl cry because I sound like younger on the phone, and this was several years ago. And he said, oh, because I said, I'm so scared. I remember when it was. It was just as they got Trump in.
Oh.
And I was scared to death. I didn't know what we were going to have to go through. I thought, we lived through Bush, but I don't know.
Right.
If we're going to live through this guy. And Stephanie's right. We are survivors.
Yeah, we are. I love that you took it on yourself. You're like, I'm going to call a newspaper in this incredibly red district or county, and I need to find out what's going on down there. Judy's like, give me the phone. I need to talk to somebody in these places. That's what we should do on the show.
Just the old-fashioned way.
That's outstanding.
I called 911 and said, the Fairfield newspaper, and I got it.
I love it. Judy's like, what is wrong with you people down there?
No, I didn't.
I know.
I was trying to be very diplomatic.
I know. It's implied, though, Judy. Come on. It's implied.
And I didn't succeed because I got frustrated. And I thought,
of course.
How do they keep their cool when they ask these questions? They must have to practice in front of a mirror.
Oh, well, I don't keep my cool very well, as you know. I'm going to run to the break, Judy. Always great to hear from you. Hi to everyone in Niles. I love that community. And we'll talk again soon.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye, Judy. Let's take a break here. And when we come back, we've got some calls on hold. We'll talk to Dave and Heather. And I'll tell you a little bit more about some of the wonderful events going on in our neighborhood. And I have shows coming up in Wisconsin, too, by the way. I'll be in Kenosha this Friday and Saturday. We'll talk about that when we come back after this break on Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez on WCPT 820.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT Willow Springs is powered by ComEd. Lower your energy bills and reduce your carbon footprint with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago traffic update.
South on the Tri-State, bumper to bumper Oakton down to the Grand Avenue curve, and then crawling Dixie Highway on over to Burnham Avenue on the eastbound side of 8094. Now, there's a rollover crash there involving a semi. All lanes are blocked. Traffic is getting by off onto both shoulders. West on I-90, solid from Arlington Heights Road to Roselle, with the crash blocking 2 right lanes. Eden's End from Lake Hook Road 4318 on the flip. Kennedy outbound at Nagel, a crash off onto the left shoulder. 27 out to the Junction Express Xavier 1055 to O'Hare. Inbound from O'Hare, hour 5. 27 of that in from the Junction. Ike outbound 52 minutes from the Circle to 390, jammed up to First Avenue. Inbound slower at 1 hour. Stevenson outbound at 355 and 46. The Ryan out to 95th and 25, braking at 51st. That's traffic. I'm Mary DeBadges.
Panera believes in saying yes to the good things. Yes to chicken sausage and pepperoni. Yes to flavorful tomato sauce and rich cheeses. And yes to putting it all on a crispy flatbread. The new sausage and pepperoni flatbread. Order on the app today. Panera. Live your yes. Restrictions apply.
This is the sound of the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, saving you money and energy while helping you lower your carbon footprint. With discounts on Energy Star certified LED bulbs, so you can come back to a home full of savings. Learn more at ComEd.com/lighting. ComEd, powering lives.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now at 773-763-9278. Driving it home with Patti Vasquez now on WCPT 820.
We are hanging out in the WCPT 820 studios. Lady B is taking your calls, making everybody happy. Lady B, I didn't mean to say you were going to break people's hearts by saying you're not caller number 5. We are so thrilled that you're joining us. And don't forget, we also are live streaming on Facebook, where we have a wonderful community of friends right there. We've got folks who are listening. Yes, Meryl, I do have my Jefferson Park Sunday Market hat on, and I try to get the banner up, and I don't have enough clips to put it up the rest of the wall, so I'll get that fixed before tomorrow. This Sunday is our last outdoor market at the Irish American Heritage Center outdoor. We are going to have markets every month, all the way through. I believe it's every month. Meryl can correct me on our Facebook Live page. Go to WCPT's Facebook page, and you can see us live stream. Join the conversation there with Margaret and Heather Lemond, and I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Lemond. I want to say it like with an accent. And Drew, by the way, our winner for the Sexy Liberal Survivors Tour is, I need a drum roll. Our winner is Julie from Romeoville. So congratulations, Julie. Have a wonderful time at the show on Saturday night at the Barrymore Theater. I'm going to miss somebody. Karen, we've got all of these wonderful listeners joining us on Facebook. Join the conversation there. And we are going to have our last Sunday market outdoor, the Jefferson Park Sunday Market, this Sunday morning, starting at 9:30, going to 1:30. And we've got great vendors there. You've got your Finn's Market with all their fresh meats and eggs, sausage and poultry, all kinds of wonderful items there. We've got our friends from Collective. They've got handmade artists do incredible work in our community, whether it's wonderful scarves coming because it's getting chilly out, and jewelry and items for around the house. We've got Distinct Bath and Body. Sam's got incredible soaps and lotions for you, and hand sanitizer. We've got so many different places. We've got 6G's Farm, Los Rodriguez Farm, with all their incredible produce. Sometimes there's some fresh flowers from them as well. I'm going to miss somebody. I know I am. Fanny's, I think Fanny's, our wonderful Fanny's Bakery on the Northwest Side, is closing this weekend. I don't think that they're going to be at the market, but if you are in the neighborhood and you want to pick up some wonderful baked items from Fanny's, she will be keeping the doors open until Sunday, and that will be the last day for one of my favorite businesses in the community. It's one of the great losses of the pandemic, and our hearts. And she's like, don't make it maudlin. She's saying it was a great run, but we love you so much, Stephanie. So anyway, come on out on Sunday morning, and the pub is open. The 3 Counties pub is open. 5 Counties pub is open in the American Irish Heritage Center. There's a $5 mimosas and Bloody Marys. We're going to have a costume contest. We've got trick-or-treating for the kids. Is it dog costumes? I can't remember now what we're doing, Meryl. She's probably going to be like, get this stuff right. I had another day to get it right. And plus, Dave has been on hold the longest. Dave, from Hoffman Estates. Hey, Dave, how are you doing?
Hey, Patty, you there?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I want to get my neighborhood. Yes, I want to get my neighborhood news out of the way. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I didn't hear the bing. So, they're talking about Bannon and stuff.
Yep.
How come back when Susan McDougal, she was in for contempt of court,
right?
And she was at least 18 months in jail or whatever for this, and didn't seem like it seemed like it was just bam, because she refused to answer Ken Starr's witch hunt questions that time on Whitewater.
Right.
And she was put in, and I don't know how many of the Democrats had voted to help, put her away. It seems like now this guy's got, okay, he's going to get it, and then now he's going to be able to appeal in the Senate, and it's just going to keep dragging it out, and then, before you know it, we're going to be into the 22, election seasons, and then, and then some. He's probably going to hope that it drags on till 24, and then if Trump does go and he wins, God help us, but if he wins, and then he's going to get somebody to give him a pardon again,
Right.
So, another thing talking on Trump and that, I just read where you remember that pilot from Black Hawk Down, that Michael Durant?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's thrown his hat in the ring for Alabama because, Shelby's going to retire. And he's one of them, and he's a Trumpy. He's got this, he's expressed his admiration for former President Donald Trump, but wasn't it the same Donald Trump that said that John McCain wasn't a hero because he was captured?
Oh, no doubt.
Like that?
Yeah, we like winners. And, we like soldiers who don't get caught. Yeah.
Yeah. So didn't that what happened to Durant?
You would think
that tape when he's all beaten up and whatnot.
Well,
the Iraqis, they published that out.
Well, here's the thing. They all dismiss all that as, it is, believe me, we go round and round on this, but there's these blinders they have on that none of that matters except for, whether it's power or owning the libs or making everything political. There's just no honesty in intellectual conversation with any of these folks that don't think. Yeah. Well, look, when Trump made fun of, go ahead.
Are you going to be having Raja Krishnamurthy on again sometime soon?
Oh, I certainly hope so. I think so. He seemed to enjoy being on the show with me. I don't think
Okay.
Yeah. Why do you ask?
Because I have a question, but I may have to write it to you because it may not be PG for him.
Okay. Wow. I don't know what that means.
He's my guy. But maybe I'll write it to you so you get to Heather and the rest of them.
All right.
I'll let you know.
I will put it in the file for Raja. Yep. Have a great day, Dave. Thank you so much for calling.
All right.
Thank you. And Heather is calling from Michigan. Our friend Heather, who's also watching, I believe, on the live stream. Hi, Heather.
Hi. I'm so glad you got to talk to Stephanie. She's really cool. I listen to her a lot.
Yeah, I was excited to talk to her.
And I am going to tell a short story. I mean, nothing really long, but I actually talked to somebody from a newspaper in my area. This has been a long, long while ago, but he was a reporter, and he used to have a crush on Rachel Maddow. And for me to hear that, I was proud of him because I knew where I was. I knew I was in a red area. But for me to hear him say that, oh my God, that made me feel so much better.
Yeah.
And
it makes a difference,
Oh, yeah. Since then, the city's become blue, but the newspaper's still...
Right. Well...
The newspaper's still red, but oh well.
Yeah. You can't win them all.
True. Have a nice night.
Thank you so much, Heather, and thank you for. I love that Lehman was trying to. He wrote it phonetically for me to pronounce his name, and Margaret on there, all having a great conversation. So I try to jump in. I've got to get a better screen so I can keep up with the conversation that you all are having as well.
All righty.
Thank you, and Gary. I can't forget Gary. Semper Fi. Take care, Heather.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And Steve from the Gold Coast. Hey, Steve. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. And I wanted to raise this issue that you were just discussing with regard to where these people are getting their information and that sort of thing, because I think it's really important and it doesn't get discussed enough. Because in America, we've got this following of Donald Trump, and basically it's not limited to Donald Trump, but he embodies it in many ways. And the fact is that there comes a point at which you can't have a debate with people who are irrational. Because Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about this when he's debated flat Earth theorists. When presented with the evidence, well, here's the photographic evidence, here's the evidence from NASA, here's the satellite imagery, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's just all part of the conspiracy. Don't you know that? At which point the conversation ends. Because any cogent argument that's dependent upon logic and reason it gets folded into their conspiracy. So basically, any evidence that you want to offer to them is simply, that's part of the deep state cover-up. Wait a minute, these are the Republicans who were running the election. They're the ones who said that it was a fair election, and this state went to Biden. No, they're part of the deep state. Anything along these lines. Any attempts to hold people accountable for what happened on January 6th, no, that's just part of the deep state cover-up.
Right.
Those are the people who are secretly running the world and eating, babies on the weekends. So at some point, I don't know what to do. I think that there are some people that we can get to that are still rational on the right. And to be quite frank, I think that there are people who are exploiting the Trump movement for their own gains. Right. They would be willing to cut rope any time with regard to Donald Trump. It's just that he happens to be a very popular person within the Republican Party. So at some point they're like, well, you know what? I've got to give lip service, even though I know he's a moron and I know he lost. I've got to give lip service to his followers because they represent a large part of my base.
Right.
So I think that this is where we are in America. That we're catering to the lowest common denominator. And I don't like Liz Cheney's politics, but at least she had the character to stand up and say, you know what? He lost. Let's admit it to ourselves. And what happened on January 6th was wrong. And politics aside, Democratic, Republican, it needs to end at the shore because we are Americans, and when something is wrong, it's wrong. It doesn't matter who it is. It's a threat to our democracy, and that's what Donald Trump represents, an existential threat to our democracy.
And that's the thing. I remember when Trump won. I have an echo. Can everybody, Lady V, can you hear that? That's coming from his, right? I feel like I'm interrupting myself, Steve. I've told friends of mine when Trump won that we were going to have an existential civil war, that it was going to be an ideological civil war. And I think that has come to pass, where we cannot agree on even what it means to be patriotic, what it means to be an American. To me, being an American and having freedom does mean that you can kneel when the national anthem is being played, right? And other people want them to be fired or harmed in physical ways. And I've never understood that. I really can't.
And on that note, I will say that we bear some responsibility on our side of the aisle as well, because I am not a part of this progressive side of the aisle that thinks that that because you said something stupid when you were 16 or you tweeted something idiotic when you were 18 that you should lose your career at 35. So I'm not part of that sort of cancel culture nonsense.
Oh,
but
I know the feeling. Yep,
holding for people accountable. But the idea that for instance, you do comedy. I'm sorry, but I don't think you should be banned from that industry because 10 or 15 years ago you did a joke that someone finds distasteful today by some arbitrary standard.
It was so funny. When I ran for office, I had consultants who wanted to go through all of my material. They wanted us to pay a ton of money to comb through all of my material. And I said, yeah, but on top of that, I was on the radio 5 days a week, 3 hours a night for 6 years. I mean, if they're going to find something, they're going to find it. And I have to stand in front of that. And that's going to have to be the case. But they didn't, apparently, either they didn't try, they didn't care, or they didn't find anything. So it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that for candidates. So I tell people the same thing. It's 2021. If there's something out there, don't think it's not. No one's going to discover it. Someone's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
So, and depending upon the office that you're running for. So if you're running for the presidency, the level of scrutiny is much higher than if you're running for Congress. And if you're running for Congress, it's much higher than if you're running for an aldermanic seat in Chicago. So it just all depends. But
well,
yeah,
here,
just assume that everything is out there.
I ran for state rep for the 19th district, and I'll tell you something. While it should have been just a regular legislative race, Dick Durbin weighed in, Mike Quigley weighed in, the mayor of Chicago, Mayor Lightfoot weighed in. I mean, like it was like body blow after body blow. They all in. They probably spent about close to $1 million to beat me on the northwest side of Chicago, because that's how much the machine wanted to hold on to their power and to validate the decisions they had made. And they thought, by the way, they thought I was going to go away. And here I am. I ain't going anywhere. Senator Martwick and Lindsay LaPointe, I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, well, those are the kinds of voices that we need to keep them alive out there. We need people like you, either on the radio or other places. And I have no doubt that this is not where your political career ends. I have high aspirations for you going down the road.
I'm just going to keep showing up and doing the work and talking to great folks like you, Steve. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Have a great rest of your day. It's a little chilly out. I'm going to go to a break right now and take our call from Dave from San Francisco. And give us a call. Join our conversation. What's on your mind? 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. More after this on Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez on WCPT 820.
It's official. The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath is on WCPT 820.
The reality is right in our face, and we have work to do, and people know it.
The former Lincoln Park alderman and former CEO of the Sun-Times, Edwin Eisendrath,
it's familiar to many of you,
will give his unique spin on the political climate every Saturday afternoon from 1 to 4 p.m.
You won't want to miss that, and I'm going to want to hear from you.
The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath.
Look, this country has Democrats, and it has Republicans, and it has mayors.
Only on WCPT 820.
This is a WCPT Moment in Labor. In 2009, General Motors was facing bankruptcy as a result of the Great Recession. Wanting to keep their jobs and help the company, the unionized auto workers accepted concessions to allow GM to recover. GM received a bailout and tax breaks, while the employees' pay rates stayed the same. Several factories were stated to close down, the raising price of healthcare premiums, and very few temp workers being moved to permanent positions, all leading to 48,000 United Auto workers walking out in September of 2019. The workers got together, protesting outside the car dealerships with picket signs and giant inflatable rats. And after 6 weeks of protest and General Motors losing $2 billion, they were willing to negotiate. The United Auto workers received a 3% pay raise, factories staying open with more being built, a set process for temp workers to remain to permanent workers, and their healthcare premium prices staying the same. This has been a WCPT Moment in Labor. We're working for your rights.
Some got busy, some got lazy, some got creative, some went crazy. Couch potatoes, avoiding respirators, we all got pretty big round the equator. Shopping online, working online, zooming all day, no pants, that's fine. Hiding at home from civilization, here's what I did over my pandemic vacation.
In chronological order, more or less, with the non-political songs first, cause not everybody wants to hear what I think politically, and I understand that, but honestly, how could anyone get through the past 18 months without one political thought?
That's Steve Goody from his album What I Did During My Pandemic Vacation, available on his website, stevegoody.com. And tonight you can catch us on the virtual comedy show, the virtual live comedy show. I have to look that up. I know Meryl put it up for me. Man, there's so many things going on. I got to stay on top of it. If you go to my Facebook page, there's a link to the live virtual comedy show, and it's going to be me and Steve Goody, Brad Tassel. You've heard them on the show, as well as other great guests. There's musical comedy, there's topical humor, and I do a Patty melt, because if you think I talk fast now, wait till you see me get fired up. And my husband just texted me, he's like, what are you doing? Why are you talking about your election again? Because I ain't going anywhere, honey. And Dave has been on hold the longest now. Dave, thank you so much for being patient and hanging in there through our calls. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm just letting my bed go.
Just fine, Patty.
Excellent. Hi.
I was spurred to call the woman at the end of the half hour talking about calling the editor.
Yes.
And that the editor could not be swayed. I'm a real history nut, and I've been going to yard sales for years, picking up old books and perusing them for the history that controls us all. And when I picked up a book many years ago called Undercover, and it's by a guy named John Roy Carlson, and it strikes me. This was written. It was published, I think, in 1941. And it was right at the beginning of the U.S. going into World War II, and it was he was a European, an Eastern European son of an industrialist who had grown up in Berlin, in universities in Berlin, and so he was very familiar with the propaganda that Hitler used to create the political and military structure that he did. And so this guy came to America trying to warn us about the propaganda campaign that we were being deluged with. And so this book, Undercover, and again, John Roy Carlson, the phrases that were used back then, this is the late 1930s and the early 1940s, they're identical. They are identical. The exact phrases that editor that woman was trying to convince against common sense, they are identical. And the Trump campaign, the Reagan campaign, the Bush campaigns, they all use the same phrases, and they cannot be convinced that small business, they pretend to support small business, but they always end up supporting big business. And like, for example, this current, if you've seen the brand new, not Paragon Papers, good grief, what are the new deluge of documents showing the super rich Pandora Papers? Have you been studying the Pandora Papers?
I have not been studying the Pandora Papers. Do I have more homework to do? Hold on a second. I'm going to put it on my schedule.
Pandora Papers. Yeah, the Pandora Papers are basically, how Tony Blair and the King of Jordan and the president of Uzbekistan are basically stealing from the Treasury and then hiding their money throughout the world. And so the Pandora Papers are kind of a WikiLeaks dump of the scoundrels of the world and where they're parking their money. And so Pandora Papers have basically exposed a huge amount of, and what I'm leading up to is that the exact phrases that the super rich are using about the Pandora Papers, they're supporting the super rich's right to hide their money. And they're coming up with this yammer about how the Federal Reserve and the IRS wants to study every $600 that you've got. But the reality is that the Republicans came up with that $600 study. The Democrats only want to study your $10,000 transactions, but the Republicans, in trying to escape the exposure of the Pandora Papers, have actually written the legislation saying the $600 exposures. So it's, these lying phonies in the Republican Party have got a lot of explaining to do if they want to pretend that they are looking out for the common weal, when in fact they're just trying to make sure they have the right to loot America.
Well, that's the thing. Have you ever read? There's two books that I've read that deal a lot with the way people react to messaging, and one is called "Don't Think of an Elephant," and the one I'm looking at right now is called "The Political Brain" by Drew Weston, and he talks about how we think when we talk about logic and reasoning, we think that when presented with facts that people will go, oh, that makes sense, but really they react with emotion, and it's a very good book about how the marketplace is filled bill with values and images, moral sentiments, moving oratory. And that's to your point about propaganda. And like that commercial that Reagan used, Morning in America, right? And the idea that, and remember those images of the little girl on the swing and that we were going to be attacked with nuclear bombs? Like all those.
Oh, yeah.
That was all manipulation, and but yeah, as far as what the Republicans want to do, as far for controlling people, workers, and emotions, that's all manipulation, and and a lot of people fall for it willingly.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that because good grief, what is the fellow that wants to starve government down to the size of a baby so he can choke it in the bathtub?
Yep. I've heard things like that.
Grover Norquist.
Norquist, that's right.
Grover Norquist. Yep. Yeah, and Grover Norquist is if the IRS were to study every $600 that anybody ever had, then they would basically so create a bureaucracy that the government would be wasting an enormous amount of time, which would then justify the Republicans in starving the IRS. And so it's preposterous to begin with, but they are always maintaining their propaganda campaign to make sure that they can starve government down to the size of a baby, so they can either drown it in the bathtub or choke it in its cradle. Yeah. Grover Norquist. And the idea that these politicians are being blackmailed. Grover Norquist basically started blackmailing politicians years ago by sending them letters or getting the press to ask them these questions in press conferences about why do you love big business or why do you love big government? And that forcing these politicians to sign a pledge that they would not support big government. And it was basically, why do you hate America? By supporting these attempts to loot America, they get Grover Norquist to be the person that pretends to be the savior, but in fact he's sabotaging America. So it's an amazing scandal. But yeah, John Roy Carlson. What were the two you were recommending?
What was that?
The two books that you were recommending?
Yes, it was. One is called The Political Brain, and the other one is Don't Think of an Elephant by George Lakoff.
Oh, yeah, Lakoff. He's right across the bay here. Yeah, a friend of mine is very into what's called the unconscious bias. And that's the same concept where people are they're whatever bigotry they had as a child sticks around for decades, and so they always stick with that bias rather than actually discovering the truth.
Exactly. Yeah, there's so much of that. It's great to hear from you, Dave. Thank you so much for your conversation. I appreciate it.
Take care. Yeah.
You too. Thank you so much. Have a great night. And before we go, Jim, I don't have much time, but what do you want to share?
I'll tell you real quick. We're all going to get coal for Christmas, I think, in the United States, between Cinnamon and Manchin. That's what we're going to get for Christmas is coal. But all I have to say is that it's going to have massive, once this COVID goes away, we're going to have massive demonstrations. I could just feel it. From the 60s, I used to demonstrate against the war in Vietnam and Washington, D.C., and all over the place. This time, I think it's really going to go, once this COVID goes away, and I don't think people are going to stand for this healthcare business in the United States.
That's the one. I'm with you on that. Healthcare is the crisis right now, and
it's a crisis. My shrink today, my shrink called me real quick, and we both agreed that the American medical place is just it's in the sinker.
Let's try. Let's try to talk about that more tomorrow. Thank you so much. I agree. In the streets,
take care.
Take care. Yeah. It's a right. It absolutely is. Thank you all so much for joining us, for driving it home. Don't forget this Sunday morning, the Jefferson Park Sunday Market, 9:30 to 1:30 at the Irish American Heritage Center. Thank you, Lady B. Thank you, everybody. Have a lovely rest of your night.
WCPT encourages you to think green. A healthy compost pile is easy to maintain with a few simple steps. Composting relies on heat, water, air, and a mixture of greens, fresh grass clippings, spent flowers, and fruit and vegetable scrap.